Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the DunnWisdom Morning Show. I am your host, Melissa P. Dunn, marketing expert, success coach, and the leader of this DunnWisdom movement. Welcome to another interactive conversation. I want to invite you to sit back, relax, take out a piece of pen and paper because you are going to be served some actionable tips that you can use in order to improve the quality of your life. As you know, at the DunnWisdom Morning Show, we inspire you and motivate you. That's our goal, so that we may help you to live a healthier, more prosperous life, not just for you, but for your family and by extension, our community. Today's guest is going to help us to focus on how to help our families to live a healthier lifestyle. She is no stranger to the DunnWisdom Morning Show. In fact, I think this is her third time coming in. I may have her on more frequently during season 2 just to come on and share some health tips with us. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and give a very warm DunnWisdom Morning Show welcome to health coach Michelle Fletcher. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. Excited to be back.
Girl, I'm loving the braids. Yeah.
Thank you. My summer hairdo.
So for those who perhaps didn't see you on the show before, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Michelle?
Okay, yes. So I am a former IT professional. I worked in corporate for over 10 years, but honestly, one of my true passions was health, has always been health. And so shortly after the recession of 2008, I found myself in a predicament where I was out of a job and kind of just rethinking what I wanted to do in life. And I happened to be connected with someone in the health and wellness industry. And I started to learn more, and I got really engulfed as being a super health advocate. I partnered with a company that offers whole food nutrition to families that help them get healthier. And since then, I have become a health coach. So for the past 10 years, I've been working in passion and purpose as a health advocate. And now I'm a health coach. And I just love spreading this message of health all around the world. So that is a little bit about me. And I'm also a wife and a mother.
Yes, I was just about to ask, because you know I love your family, girl. I love your 2 babies. So tell us about your role. So you're a health coach, a health advocate, a mompreneur, right?
Yes.
A wife, mother, community activist, because I know that you're very active in our community in Lauderhill.
Yeah.
So tell us that part.
Yeah, I am all those things. Trust me. When I believe strongly in something, and I connect with it, then you'll see me advocating for it. And so one of the things that I am passionate about is the community that I live in, and especially Melissa. I've known her for so many years, and I just see her as being such a powerful woman. And when she comes to the forefront, I mean, change is going to happen. So it's been amazing to be someone advocating for her, because I can just see how amazing she is. And it's been a joy, really. My family is like always talking about Melissa, and they can't wait to see.
Well, thank you. I love it. So tell us about your kids. You have 2 children and a husband, right? Tell us a little bit about that, so that people can see that when you're talking about health in a family, that you not only teach it, you practice it.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been that mom that had that child that was constantly sick. So I got into this health arena right when my son was 14 months old, and he was a picky eater, constantly sick. We were always going back and forth to the doctor, trying to figure out, how he got an infection. Why is he always with all these different congestion and nasal problems? And so that really sparked my my passion to look into now nutrition and how nutrition plays a role in all that. And so it's been 10 years. And now my son, who was this sickly kid, is an athlete. He plays pretty much every sport. He's now 11 years old, and he does really well in the classroom too, very smart. And then I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she is a soccer player. She plays travel soccer. So that's really intense, guys.
Yeah.
Travel soccer. And she's also someone that's very brilliant in the classroom and also just very talented outside of that too. She taught herself how to play the piano, and she just does all these things. So it's just really, they're pretty incredible kids.
Oh, I love watching your babies. I love when you post on Instagram. Actually, let me throw up your Instagram handle so that folks can follow you. Because I know sometimes you post things there about your children and you share some tips. All right. So I asked you to come back on because we are heading into back to school, right? Mm-hmm. And right now, parents are trying to figure out, how to kind of balance all of it. But they're also trying to figure out, well, how do we keep healthy, especially right now in this day and age when the coronavirus is at a surge once again. So could you share, Michelle, some tips on how families can become healthier?
Absolutely. So, there's just so much going on, and the stress of it all can just, mind you, stress is a silent killer. So you want to be able to manage your stress in different ways so that you're not reducing your immune function, because we know it will wreak havoc on your immune system. And so we want to maintain healthy immune systems, right? And so I'm going to list like 4 things that you can do to strengthen your immune system. And the first one is, now that we're getting back to school for the kids, both you and the children should get back into a routine of going to bed a little bit earlier. So start setting your clocks and saying, okay, around this time, we're going to start winding down and we're going to be in the bed at least, like right now for us, we have 2 weeks until school starts. So we're going to start, scaling back on when they're going to go to bed within 30 minutes before, and then around 45 minutes as we get closer. And then by the time, like we're a few days away from school, they're an hour before, getting back into that routine of going to sleep and getting enough rest, because we know elementary age students need to be getting at least, 9 to 12 hours of sleep. And then teenagers,
really? 9 to 12 hours?
Yes.
Wow,
rest.
I didn't know
Their
that.
bodies are growing and developing, they need at least 9 to 12 hours. And then for teenagers, between 8 and 10 hours. So just keep that in mind, and what times they're starting school and what times you think they should be getting into bed to get that amount of rest for their bodies to recover, to repair. That's what happens when we're sleeping. Our bodies are recovering and repairing for the days ahead. So that's my first tip.
How do you, so your kids are, tell me the ages again. I forgot.
11 and 13.
11 and 13. So what time do they go to bed?
So when school's in, they're in bed by 9:30, 10 the latest. Now,
9:30, 10 the latest. And they're athletes. So they have after school activities. They have to come home and do homework. And you're a Jamaican family, so I'm sure you have them doing some chores.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, they have chores they have to do. Either they're doing the dish. One is doing the dishes. One is vacuuming. One is dusting. So they have their chore list for the week. But also, my daughter plays travel, and she doesn't get home until like around 9:15 at night. But I think that may change. Hopefully she'll be home around 9 because we change teams. So, by the time she gets home, her brother's usually already in bed at 9:30. But then she's in bed by around 10. So, but they're now both in middle school. So school starts later at 9:30. So they have a little leeway there. But yeah, we're really conscious of getting enough rest because they have a very vigorous day. And I know most people do. Your days are going like this. You as the parent and the children, their activity level is not like when I was young. Okay.
Yeah. So what suggestion can you put in place for families that have younger children that may not be so enthusiastic about meeting the bedtime? I mean, I don't have kids, but I can just imagine the trauma or the drama, I should say with a D, the drama that can come up with getting these babies to go to bed on time?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? When you just set the rule and they don't have a choice, first of all, getting off the electronics and turning off the TV helps them to their brains start to wind down, because the electronics keeps their minds just stimulated. So you want to just turn those off so that already they're in that mode. And I think the younger children, it can be easier because young children love routine. So if you start the routine, even if they resist in the beginning, within a week or so, they will start to, I don't want to use the word submit, but they will start to get into that habit.
They'll get in line. Yes. Get in line.
And then it will be like, young children really love routine. So it's really great to start these practices when they're young, because as they get a little older, it becomes easier to just put them in motion, right? When it's time.
All right, great. So tip number 1 was rest. What's tip 2?
So tip 2 is hydration. So you want to.
All right. It looks like we froze a little bit. You look like you froze a little bit there, Michelle. So we will talk about tip number 2 when you come back, but she said it's hydration. Oh no, we froze. Michelle? Oh, Lord have mercy. Listen, we're going that was a good place for that to happen, because now I have to figure out how to edit it so we can cut out that piece. But luckily it's easy, right? Because we were just on tip 2. So we'll just start that part over.
Okay.
Thank God it wasn't like in the middle of a conversation.
Exactly. Oh my God.
All right.
Funny.
So we'll just clip out the middle and then go with this. Okay. So, all right. So that's a really good tip, Michelle. What's tip number 2?
So tip number 2 is hydration. So if you're like me and Melissa and you're in South Florida, you know hydration is super important. It is so hot down here. We're in the midst of summer, and you have no idea how hydration plays a role in your energy level and just releasing toxins out of your body. You and your child want to be getting enough hydration every day, and that equates to drinking half your body weight in water. So if you weigh like 120 pounds, you should be drinking at least 60 ounces of water every day. I have my handy dandy water bottle. This carries 64 ounces.
Oh my gosh, I need one of those. Hold it up. You should get that branded, girl. I would buy that from you. Is it branded already? Let me see.
I actually got this one from Costco, but that's a really good idea. And this is
all right. Awesome. We need to put that on your list of things for your brands. A branded water bottle. Okay, so that's a 60-ounce bottle. That's your bottle.
Yes, and I feel like when you get kids water bottles like this, they think it's so much fun. So it makes it easier for them to drink the water. Now, if they don't like to drink water, you can flavor the water. Put some fruit in it. You can put some strawberries, some cucumbers, put something there like. Or there's also some healthy powders that you can add to it to give it some flavor. But, it's so important to get that into their systems and into your system too, that I highly recommend that you are just cognizant of how much water you should be getting every day. And if a water bottle helps, carry it with you everywhere. I bring my water bottle with me wherever I go. Even if I go to a restaurant, sometimes I'm carrying my water bottle. It's just a habit.
Oh, see, that's such a good idea. That's such a good idea. That's one of the goals that I'm personally working on, And so I'm starting to carry like that water gallon thing. But first of all, it's plastic. And then second of all, it's just not cute. So I might need to go ahead and buy something that
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
This keeps it cold all day. Even if it was sitting in your car, it's getting the water
Mm.
so cold, which is awesome.
All right, so I'm gonna have to look for that. So we need to add that to your merch list, girls. So I know, right? So you mentioned that for kids, you can put flavor in it. You can put like some healthy powder type things.
Right. I know there's flavored powders out there made with stevia, which is a healthy sweetener that you can add
Okay,
to their water. And so
good.
to get
So
the new,
that's so I'm sorry to cut you off. So when we go to the supermarket to buy that, we should read the label. Like what type of things should we be looking for on the label?
so on the label, you want to see natural sweeteners and you want to avoid the processed sweeteners. So you don't want to be eating anything that says sucralose or some of those artificial sweeteners. What is it? Aspartame, I think is it. You
Anything
don't
that
want
you
to
can't pronounce.
exactly. You don't want to see that on the label. You want it to be so stevia is a natural sweetener. Even
Yeah.
sugar to me is better than the artificial sweeteners because sugar is a natural, it's from nature even though it has been processed to get to that sugar point, but you don't want to have anything that has too much sugars anyway. So just try to avoid, most people know what those processed sweeteners are, avoid those. But if it has like the natural sweeteners, stevia, sugar, honey, then you're good.
All right, got it. All right, so tip number 1 was rest. Tip number 2 is hydration. All right, what's the next tip?
Tip number 3, I would say get active. However you can and your family can find ways of getting active. Maybe it's going for a walk, either in the morning or in the evening as a time to wind down. Going for walks, they can make a significant difference. Just getting your body moving because our bodies were made to move. And we just live in a society today where it can be really easy to be sitting in one place or just not moving as much as we should. So getting at least 20 to 30 minutes of some kind of activity. And trust me, walking counts, skating, whatever you love to do. I mean, your child might want to ride their bike as you walk behind them. Just getting your body moving, because guess what? That's going to help them to sleep better. It's going to help you to sleep better. It's going to help you to release toxins out through the sweat that you produce. So there's so many outside benefits. And trust me, it's also very good for mental health. That's one of the things that I love physical exercise for, is for mental health and how it makes me feel afterwards. You know, those happy endorphins. I know Melissa can relate to this after exercise, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when I'm out in nature, like for me, going for a walk on the beach and having my feet in the salt water and just walking for like 15 minutes up and 15 minutes back.
Oh,
It
yeah.
helps. I love that. And it's just another way to connect with nature and just be mindful and moving my body at the same time.
Exactly. So you're doing like a 3-in-1 right there.
I love that. So I should give myself 3 stars.
Yes. I love it.
Hey, so what about, I know your babies, well, let me stop calling them babies because they are really like growing young people. They're like they're teenagers and a preteen. So
No.
So how, I know your children are athletic, but what about families with kids that prefer to be in the house playing video games? Like what tips do you have to offer in that situation?
It's funny because even though my son is an athlete, he loves video games too. But guess what I do? Sometimes I'm like, okay, we're taking a break. We're going for an evening walk, right? We're getting out. Or go to the park. They love going, the park is always a fun place. They run around going from the swing to like bars, and it just is a fun way for them to stay active. Or if you may have bikes or skates, tell them to put on their skates or get on their bike. You'll just go around the block a couple of times. So it's something to break that routine, but still doing something that they enjoy so that they don't totally, fight against it. So if you can do something that they enjoy, they're more likely to want to do it.
They're more likely to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hearing you say in that is like two things came to mind when you were talking. The first thing is parents, you got to do things with your children. So going to the park entails you actually also going to the park. So that could count as a family bonding activity where you're all playing and moving your body, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then go ahead.
And I think the children really watch what you do. So, you know, if you were to just drop them off at the park, then they're like, oh, but she didn't stay. So in their mind, they're going to think, well, why do I have to do this? So if you're there participating alongside, it's more encouraging for them, right?
Yeah. First of all, as a commissioner, I'm like, yeah, don't do that. Don't just leave your kid at the park. Don't.
Safety purposes.
Yeah. Safety purposes, yeah. But the other thing that came up to me as you were speaking, Michelle, is like, I remember when I was growing up, you know, it'd be like, go outside and play. Like, do parents even do that anymore? Send their kids outside and play on the block? And you know that by the time the street light comes on, you need to be back in the house. Like, after your homework, go play, come back, take your bath, go to bed.
I think some parents do still do that depending on the neighborhood and how, you know, much they know their neighbors. It's not as common as when we were young because, we were outside playing, right? But there are some that are still able to practice that. It's a shame that that has gone away. But I noticed the parks are full in the evening time, which is good because they're getting their kids out to play and they are there with them, right? So people are doing it. They're doing it.
I love it. I love it. We should have like a family walk day at one of our local parks.
Yeah,
that might be a good suggestion for the Recreation Advisory Board. I'm just saying.
Oh, I think I'm putting that on my list. Yes. I love it.
All right. So what is your fourth tip?
So my fourth tip is nutrition and eating healthier. So I know that when school starts, and even in the summer, the days go by so fast and it's so easy to get caught up in just eating whatever's around. But we really have to be very intentional about our eating because it can run away with us really quickly. So you'll turn around and you realize, wow, I ate a bunch of carbs and sugars today and not much else. So one thing I really like families to know is how important getting enough fruits and vegetables in your diet are. And what the government recommends is that we eat at least 7 to 13 servings, and 7 is for children. So 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables for children. For adults, 9 to 13 servings. And that is important because fruits and vegetables have antioxidants and phytonutrients that help your body to repair, recover, to fight, to improve your system, your immune function. All those things that help you to stay healthy are found in fruits and vegetables and plant foods. So all those things that God put on this earth for us that are from nature, so from nuts, seeds, grains, fruits and vegetables, you find these really helpful nutrients that help us to have stronger immune systems and so forth. And so with that being said, I love to share ways that families can just prepare and be more intentional about getting more healthier foods in their diets. And so my first tip I love to share is maybe making smoothies for breakfast instead of having like a cereal. You can prep smoothies by putting like the fruits you would want. And I love to add some greens. So like spinach in a smoothie, your children would not even taste it. They wouldn't even know it's in there. But prep your smoothies if you're short on time in Ziploc bags and freeze them. And when you want to make your smoothie in the morning, guess what? You're just dumping everything in the thing, adding the liquid, turning it on. In less than 2 minutes, you have your breakfast. And you can leave the house with it because it's in a cup. So you can just run out the door. Your kid can be drinking in the car. You can be drinking it as you're dropping them off and going to work. It's a really nutritious and a great way to start your day. My family uses a whole food, plant-based protein powder that we add to our smoothies. So it has another 15 types of plants in it. So it's a really helpful way to get a lot of nutrition in. It's a brainy breakfast. I love that one of the doctors that I'm associated with, he calls it a brainy breakfast. And don't you want a brainy breakfast for your child who's going off to go learn all day?
Yes.
And so
that sounds like a lot of fun, Michelle, because I'm imagining that if you have younger kids, they can probably help you to prepare the fruit packets together and decide on, okay, Monday through Sunday, what are the fruits that we're going to eat? And they can be a part of that process, right?
Exactly. And then the fun part is once they're part of that process of preparing, now they get excited to even make it there on their own. So I have friends where it's funny, their kids are as young as 4 years old making smoothies, because now all they have to do is take the Ziploc bag out, throw it in the cup, add the liquid, and turn the thing on and make their smoothies. So now they're becoming more independent and becoming more self-sufficient in ways to get in healthier meals. And I love that.
That's such a great idea. So I had my niece with me for a couple of weeks this summer, right? And I have to tell you, Michelle, I really struggled with the eating healthy part. Like all of the other things that you mentioned, the rest, the hydration, the move your body, we did that.
Mm-hmm.
But eating healthy, I found to be really, really challenging because my schedule is so busy. I had no system in place. And we ate, I'm ashamed to say that we drove through McDonald's a lot. and yeah, and then she was eating when I sent her to camp, right? So I had to prepare breakfast, lunch, and then for lunch, I gave her a lot of Lunchables, but Lunchables are not healthy either.
No.
So what's your tip for lunch?
Okay, so for like a healthy lunch, I mean, even if you were to make a sandwich at home instead of making a Lunchable. So I like to purchase maybe lunch meat that has like no nitrates or nitrates or nitrites in them. Because it was funny, when I was pregnant, the doctor would say, oh, you can't eat lunch meat. It has nitrates or nitrites, so avoid that. And I was like, well, why would I want to eat it when I'm not pregnant either? So I just have always been.
Now, listen, I just bought some lunch meat because I was like, ooh, that's going to be I'm going to eat ham and cheese today for lunch.
But check the package. Sometimes
I need you in my life, Michelle.
Yes, we can do a grocery shopping run and I'll show you like which one is better, this or that, right? We could do that. And I love sharing these tips with people. So for lunch, even if you're making the sandwich yourself and just making sure the ingredients are a little bit better than what would be a packaged food, that is great. Having like a fruit on the side, because children, they really don't eat that much for lunch, but having like a sandwich or even a salad, if you pack a salad and have dressing on the side, you'll be amazed if you have them in a routine of eating a salad and maybe have some grilled like leftover chicken on top or something like that. You can send them with a little salad there, eat that, have a fruit on the side, maybe have some pretzels, which aren't the best, but just something crunchy or carrot sticks, little things like that. And I'm always sharing different tips on how to eat. I know one thing that my family does that makes it really easy to get in a lot of concentrated fruits and vegetables is we've been taking a whole food supplement. And so that has 20 fruits and veggies for the ones that my kids take. The one I take has 30 fruits, veggies, and berries. And it's been something that we've used now for 10 years. And it's really helped. It's been my safety net because we're not perfect eaters all the time. There's days where we go through the whole day and be like, oh my gosh, did we eat a vegetable today? So it's something that at least we laid that foundation. We take them in the morning with breakfast. And so we go about our days and most times out of not, it helps them to make slightly better choices. But, then there's times when there's birthday parties and they're eating nothing but, what is the birthday foods, which, okay, that's fine too. It's not an everyday occasion, but when we're back together, we get back to the foundational things that we're eating. So I love to do salads in a jar. I know the grown-ups love the salads in a jar. I mean, it makes life easy. I prep them. We sometimes do meal preps on Sunday where we prep these salads in a jar. And these are meals that you can store in your fridge for up to 7 days. And they stay fresh in mason jars and you grab and go. So if you're someone that's working in the office, you can grab it, put it in the fridge. And when it's lunchtime, you'll be amazed how filling it is, because it has all these different components. You'll want to put some proteins in there, like from seeds or beans or quinoa. And then you'll have your toppings, peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers and even strawberries, no matter blueberries, you can have whatever you like. And then you have your greens, whether it's spinach or kale or spring mix. It's just an amazing meal. Sometimes I feel like I went to Ruby Tuesdays. I used to love going to the salad bar at Ruby Tuesdays and you selecting all these different things. But having a salad in a jar makes life a lot easier. You can have it for lunch or for dinner. And another favorite tip of mine is maybe making soups. Like if you make a soup for the week and just package that up, it can be something.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. And you make a really good, is it lentil soup, if I remember correctly, right?
My lentil soup, girl. And I've been modifying it a little bit and adding coconut milk to it. It is amazing. I'm going to make some for you.
Yes, please. Yeah. Yes. And I have to come to your salad in a jar party, like your Sunday meal prep.
Yes, those are amazing.
You put all of that information on your IG, right?
Yeah, check out my IG. You'll see like pictures of when we've had salad parties. You'll see different tips and tricks I give for just, healthy eating for children, for the family, and the whole food nutrition that we use. Just so many good nuggets on there. So definitely check that out. I also have a link tree on my Instagram account where you can go and see all the different things that I was referencing here today also.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Michelle, thank you so much for coming by to share some health tips for families. We'll definitely have you come back on. I think that health and nutrition is the new wealth, man. Like you've got to be healthy in order for you to create sustainable wealth, not just for you and your family, but also for our community. And we need more of that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Any final words of wisdom for families as we're sending our babies back to school?
My final word is do not become overwhelmed with all this information. I always say start with one thing. So make one simple change at a time. And once you implement that one change, then say, hey, I'm going to add something else. So don't be overwhelmed. Take some notes, but say, okay, this is where I'm going to start. And then once you get to accomplish that first simple change, then add something else. So that is my tip for everyone out there.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for joining us, Michelle. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the DunnWisdom Morning Show. Tune in weekdays, actually tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. right here on Facebook Live or on YouTube at the DunnWisdom Morning Show. I want to encourage you to pick your one thing, and just make the simple change. We will be back here again soon. Remember, be kind and loving to yourself today. You deserve it. Be well.